Hey traveling friends, this is Tara with Lightly Salted. Today we're going to travel to Antelope Valley Canyon. Antelope Valley is in Page, Arizona. Since we live in Southern California, I felt the best way for us to get there as far as the amount of time that we had was to take a quick flight over to Las Vegas. From Las Vegas, we rented a car and then we drove 4.5 hours to get to Page, Arizona. We only had, I think, 2 or 3 days total. So we were gonna spend a little time in Las Vegas at Circus Circus so the kids could play, and 1 day in Page, Arizona. So we rented the car from Las Vegas.
We are going to the car rental place, and we just got off the shuttle bus to get here.
Now, let me tell you this about Las Vegas Airport. If you're gonna rent a car, make sure you check to see if it's gonna be at the actual car rental place or if it's an off-site car rental place.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that. We gotta go somewhere else.
What? Now we gotta go somewhere else apparently.
I did not check that. So when we got to the airport, got our bags, we were shuttled to the car rental place. And then when we got to the car rental place, where we rented our car from, it was not located there. We had to go to another stop and we had to wait for a van to come pick us up to take us to their car rental place. So just keep that in mind, little tip for you at the Las Vegas airport. But once we got the car, we drove over to Circus Circus. We stayed at Circus Circus on the first night. It's great for kids. It's fun. The kids love Circus Circus. The room itself, not my favorite. It was super cheap. I want to say we got the room right around $50 for the night. So you can't really beat the price, but you definitely get what you pay for. Room was just kind of that musty smell, old quilts. It was just not my favorite place to stay. But as far as the entertainment goes, great for kids. They have a midway. They have a performance at nighttime. They do acrobats. They also have Adventureland. Adventureland is pretty cool. Adventureland has a roller coaster inside and they have a lot of different rides. As far as the food court there, I feel like it was pretty limited in choices. They did have a pool. We used the pool. It was a smaller pool, so it was pretty packed. A lot of people were there. Also had a little water park in the back area. The kids seemed to like that. Hardly anybody was in that area, so the kids played there for a little bit. The kids loved it. Their experience leaving wasn't remembering the quality of the hotel room. Their experience was how fun it was to go to the Midway. All right, so the next morning we woke up super early. We had to be in Page, Arizona at 1 o'clock. That was our time to go on our tour. You have to make a reservation. A lot of times you can't make a reservation in a day or two in advance. I made the reservation, I believe, in a week in advance, and there were hardly any. But here's a little tip for you. If you don't see the time or the day that you want, just keep checking every couple hours because it changes all the time. And that's what I realized. There was a day and time I wanted, they didn't have it. I was super bummed. I checked it the next day and it was available. Side note, check if there is a time change. I did not know that. We left an hour earlier than we needed to.
That part, we came an hour early because Paige usually has a different time difference. But this time, my mom woke us up at 6 o'clock because she thought they had an hour time difference. Apparently, this is the only area they don't.
Luckily, we were able to hop onto an earlier tour. But just so you know, if you're traveling from somewhere, it's always nice to know what time zone they're on. The way Antelope Valley Tour works, you can do the upper or lower slot canyons. We chose the lower just because everything I read says that you should do the lower. So we didn't even do the upper canyon, so I can't give you any review on that. But we did choose the lower and we loved the lower. When you get there, you're gonna go down a parking lot. On the left, it's Dixie's Antelope Valley Tours, and then I think on the right is Ken's Antelope Valley Tours. But from what I understand, when I called them and I was asking to make reservations, it sounds like they work together. I think that they're in business together, but they just set up as 2 different tour groups. So we did the Dixie's Lower Antelope Valley Tour. When we went, I don't know if this is for all year round, but when we were there in April, that time frame, super windy, very dusty. So I would recommend to you to take some kind of facial mask or some kind of handkerchief or anything to cover your face just in case it is as windy and dusty as it was when we were there. We didn't have anything, so we just had our shirts kind of covering us. until we got down into the slots. When it was our turn, I want to say there were about, in our group, I want to say maybe 15 or so people. So here's my little tip to you. When you are getting into your big group, my recommendation was go to the very back of the group. Try to stand at the end of the line. And what I found by doing this was that you are going to have more time to get pictures and not have a bunch of people in your pictures. Like if you're in the middle, then you're going to have people in front of you and behind you when you're trying to take pictures. If you're in the front of the line, people are always going to be like pushing you to keep moving. The tour guides are on a schedule, so you can't stay there all day to take pictures, and you're not standing around there. They're slowly keeping you moving the whole time. So I did find by being in the back, you had a little extra time and a little extra space to get really cool photos. Once we got in our line, we walked to the slot canyon. And once you get there, they give you a little heads up on the do's and don'ts being in the slot canyons. And one of the big don'ts is you can't videotape. So you can only take pictures. So just keep that in mind, be respectful of that. And they don't want you doing any pictures while you're walking up and down the stairs. So let's talk about the stairs. In the lower slot canyons, I would say the tour that we went on, there were pretty steep stairs. I was actually pretty surprised. And for a moment, my hands got a little sweaty just because I have a 10, 7, and 6-year-old. They went ahead of me, and there are people in front of us, but just watching them walk down the stairs to get down to the canyon, it just made me nervous. I kept saying, hold on to the rails, like walk slow, walk sideways. If you have any issues with walking or getting around easily, I don't know, this may not be the right tour for you, the one that we went on. I know that there are other tours that are easier, so definitely find one that says easy walking. They'll actually list them on the website. It'll let you know if they're easy walking or if they're a little bit more challenging. When you get to the bottom, you're kind of just navigating, checking things out. Everything's cool. You want to get a picture of everything, like every minute you're trying to take a picture. The cool part was on ours, and I'm hoping this is the same for every tour, the tour guide actually took my camera and he put it on a really cool setting. So that way when I went and did all my pictures, it was at a setting where it made everything just look so vibrant and so great. So maybe ask your tour guide if he doesn't offer that for you, if he can put your phone on a setting that helps make all the pictures come out amazing. Our tour guide also was really cool. He would take pictures for everybody in the group. So he knew the really cool key spots in the slot canyons where it would make really nice pictures. And some of my favorite pictures were the ones that he took of my kids and I. So if you're with yourself and a significant other, you don't have to either be taking selfies or one of each other. He'll actually take pictures for you, and he stops along the way while he's explaining the history of the slot canyons, and he'll also stop and take pictures as well. So I thought that was really nice and really cool. So make sure at the end you give him a tip. I think it's definitely worth it because it kind of makes your trip, having those really cool pictures at this really amazing place. The tour itself, I can't quite remember. I want to say maybe it was about 45 minutes or so being in the slot canyons. Once you're down there, most of it is pretty easy walking. Some of it's tight spaces, so if you're claustrophobic, it may not be for you. And then there's a little bit more wider open spaces. There are different stairs throughout. There's a couple of different places where they have like 2 or 3 steps here, 2 or 3 steps there. And then at the very end, obviously you have to go back up a steep amount of stairs to get to the top. I think the stairs going up at the end are a lot easier than the ones coming down at the beginning. Those were the steepest ones to me. I think if I went back and did it again, my opinion would be to try to stay a little bit longer so you can hook on some other parts of this trip. So check out Horseshoe Bend, take the 1.5-hour drive down to Grand Canyon, do the Zion National Park, hit some great national parks while you're doing it. And I think the reason why Antelope Valley probably isn't as blown up as it could be or should be is because it's not necessarily easy to get to unless you live in that area. To get there, the 2 main airports are either Las Vegas, which is a 4.5-hour drive, or you have Phoenix, which is about a 4-hour drive. So both of them, it takes some time. And if you're having to fly in and get a rental car, it definitely takes some planning. I personally think it's worth it because I had so much fun. The kids still talk about it, and this was months ago. The pictures that we have, we're going to have forever. I just think that For the trip that we had, I mean, we did Vegas with it and the kids had a good time. So we tried to add some stuff in to do kind of a lot of different activities to make it exciting for the kids. Until next time, have a great day and happy travels.